Welcome back, everybody. Today I'm going to talk about 10 things I love about my Suzuki Sidekick / Geo Tracker, a few things that could be better, and then I'm going to go into the particulars of my truck and talk a little bit about why I bought one of these. Let's get started.
Number 1, a fully manual four-wheel drive system with a manual transmission, including a traditional transfer case, 4 high, 4 low, and 2 high, and manual locking hubs from the factory. I think I'm partial to it because this is what I learned to drive on and what I learned to drive off-road with. It's simple, it's not likely to break, there's no electronics involved. Number 2, simple, robust coil spring suspension. The front suspension is a modified McPherson strut design. You can see the spring sits directly between the lower A-arm and the frame. The simple design is easy to work on, easy to align, and there's no need for spring compressor. A couple of other things I like. The narrow frame of the Sidekick allows long lower A-arms that minimize geometry changes with a modest lift. Also, the A-arms are fully boxed for strength. In the back there's a solid rear axle. Like all manual transmission Sidekicks, there are 513 gears inside. My rear diff is currently open, but I've got a Lockrite locker that I plan to install soon. The rear suspension is a 3-link design with lower trailing arms on both sides and a single central upper control arm. Overall, the suspension provides good ride with decent articulation. Number 3, the Boxy 80s styling. Sidekick has simple lines, sharp angles, and chunky proportions. Slightly wider fenders also look great. Overall, I think the styling looks clean and it's really aged well. Number 4, outward visibility. The big greenhouse in this truck, and these huge windows, make it really easy to see the world around you. This is awesome on the road, even better on the trails. It's one of the big advantages, I think, of this era of vehicles over the newest vehicles with their much smaller windows.
Number 5, the soft top. This one really surprised me. When I started looking for trucks, I was only looking for a tin top. But then I realized the tin top trucks are a lot harder to find. There's a lot fewer of them on the market, and I was overlooking good soft top trucks if I was demanding to have the tin top. Now, after having the soft top for a couple of years, I wouldn't go back. It's so easy to use. The top just flips open after releasing the latches inside. Now you've got a Targa style roof, and to open up the rest of the truck, just unvelcro the side panels. Once you do that and unzip the back window, the truck's pretty open. You can also take down the rest of the top on the back, but I hardly ever do. It's quite a bit more work and it really isn't worth the bother and takes a long time to put back up. But having these panels off and the roof open feels great in the summertime.
Number 6, lightweight and small. Basic specs show the Sidekick's about the same size and weight as a World War II Jeep. It's also similar in size to a modern 4-seat side-by-side. Small size, super tight turning radius make it agile and a pleasure to drive on the trails and around town.
Number 7, good gas mileage with just enough power. My truck gets about 23 in town, 27 on the highway, and it can easily cruise at 65 miles an hour on the highway. One of the secrets to that is keeping the truck light, don't add a lot of weight to it, and don't make your tires too big. I stayed with 235s, mostly just to keep my highway drivability and halfway decent mileage.
Number 8, these vehicles are a pleasure to work on. All you need are basic hand tools. There's lots of room in the engine bay. None of the plastic cladding you have on modern vehicles. Replacement parts are easy to come by, generally, except for some Suzuki specific parts or parts that aren't made by any other manufacturers. And generally they're cheap. Number 9, they're not that common anymore. My Sidekick's a bit scruffy, but it still gets lots of compliments and starts a few conversations.
What kind of car is this?
It's a Suzuki Sidekick.
Really? It's super cool.
Oh, thanks very much.
Awesome.
Yeah, are you looking for one of these?
Yeah.
Awesome. All right, I'll let you know if it's for sale. Make sure to check out my channel.
Okay.
Thanks. And finally, number 10, it's just fun to drive. Around town, it's refreshing to drive such a simple vehicle, especially with the top down in the summer, and, of course, off-road too. Okay, now we've covered the good stuff. Here's 5 things that could be better. Number 1, relatively low ground clearance. Number 2, there's effectively no storage space in the back here when the seat's folded up. So, when you're carrying 2 people to go camping, you need to fold the seat down and pack your gear. If you want to carry 4 people, you're not bringing much with you. Number 3, The bodies in these trucks are only slightly thicker than beer cans. They almost dent by looking at them the wrong way. Number 4. The vacuum system used in these trucks for engine controls and emission controls are way too complex. They're very prone to leaks. I'm only showing you about half of it here. Number 5. There's very little aftermarket support for these trucks outside of lifts. So if you want accessories, hopefully you're comfortable building your own. Here's a Rotopax mount I made for the spare tire carrier last year. And here's my modified receiver. So, why did I buy a Sidekick? I wanted a small vehicle for weekend camping and exploring. I planned to stick to forest roads and modest trails. I wasn't interested in tackling anything too difficult. And mostly, I wanted balance, something I could enjoy driving on the highway as well as the trails. Originally, I went looking for a Samurai. And after looking at a few, I found a very clean, very original truck. But I wasn't convinced this was the right Suzuki for me, so I started looking at first-gen Sidekicks. They have a number of advantages. First, they're up to 10 years newer than most of the Samurais. They all have the bigger 1.6-liter engine, either the earlier 8-valve or the later 16-valve like I have. All are fuel injected versus the carburetors in the Samurais. And with fuel injection you get modern diagnostics, including OBD2 after 95. Highway drivability is a lot better. I cruised out here today at 60-65 miles an hour, while the Samurais were pretty tapped out above 50. Additionally, they're roomier inside, and because they're newer, the interiors are in better shape. So, why did I buy this particular truck? When I got it, it was 100% original. Nothing had been done to it other than adding the tow bar on the front and a receiver hitch on the back. I was looking for a truck in good mechanical condition and an excellent body. This truck had all original paint, there was no significant body damage, no body repairs, and there's zero rust or corrosion, either on the body or the chassis. This truck also came with a few service records. There was a new clutch 10,000 miles before I got it, had new brakes, and there was a brand new soft top when I picked it up. Because it had the tow equipment on it, this truck had been pulled behind an RV. So the mileage under its own power is going to be lower than that on the odometer, which was 155k when I got it. My best guess that it's about 100k or 120k based on the condition of the seat, pedals, and the carpet. So there's a few things that could be better on this truck. Like you've seen in my other videos, I spent quite a bit of time tracking down and fixing a variety of emission controls issues so that I could register the thing. One of the only things about the truck that really bugs me is the condition of the paint. There's quite a bit of oxidation to the clear coat, which is really common in these darker trucks from this era. I've polished this up a bit on the sides, and it looks okay, I think. But the hood's a total mess. Previous owner tried to clear coat over the oxidation without removing it, and made it just about impossible to polish up now. So, if you want to buy a tracker, the best time to get one was a couple of years ago, and the second best time is now. Prices on these are continuously going up. I've seen them going for nearly twice as much as I paid for this one 3 years ago. There's still a few on the market though, and if you look carefully, you can find ones like this with no rust, no corrosion, particularly on the West Coast. If you've enjoyed this video, I encourage you to take a look at some of the other ones I have posted. I've got about half a dozen videos that cover maintenance on this truck, getting the engine running correctly, passing emissions, as well as a couple of the upgrades I've made, namely the off-road lights I've added and the lift. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments. I look forward to your feedback. Thanks for watching.